Thank you, Mira. Hola, everyone. My name is Alexandra Seda, and I have two questions for you today. What is your story? And think more about where your story is in time. Before I was an engineer, I was just a little girl who loved to play with Lincoln Logs and Legos. Though having ADHD made focusing very difficult for me, my mom did everything she could to nurture the potential she saw in me. My father ended up receiving a job offer, and he transferred down to Alabama. New region. Being Puerto Rican, we definitely did not fit in down there. And oftentimes we felt alone because we didn't have any family nearby. My parents never went to college, so my mom worked 3 jobs at a private school as a Spanish teacher, a custodian, and a cafeteria worker, just so that my sister and I could attend private school, so that we could have a different future. She was our superhero. Then, in 2008, it happened. My father lost his job, and my mother's income became our sole lifeline for a family of 4. After 18 months of searching for jobs and getting frustrated and the search being unfruitful, my father gave up. He never was able to recover. During this time, I entered public high school. At home, the stress of worrying about whether we'd have food on the table or whether or not we'd be able to keep our home, it was very, very difficult. Life during this time, it just felt like a lot of static noise, and there were many times where I wished things would just be quiet just for a moment. The TV shows my family and I watched portrayed that we would never be good at science or math. They told us that we could never be engineers, scientists, doctors, or astronauts. We weren't supposed to be the people that changed the world. We were supposed to be the people that needed help. When I watched these stereotypes replayed over and over again, I was frustrated because I loved building things and I really loved helping people. If I couldn't study to be an engineer, then I couldn't pursue what I felt like was my mission in life. In high school, I was intrigued by math, but I was also scared of it because my parents had struggled with the subject. I wondered if I was even supposed to try math, or if the writing was already written for me on the wall. But even though I felt that way, I excelled. When senior year came, I was excited to be the first person in my family to go to college. But I was quickly faced with the reality that the engineering schools around me were out of my reach. The engineering schools were way too expensive, and in order to get scholarships, students had to score like an impossible score of 30 or higher. And so with money being scarce, I realized I would need a back door, and in the meantime, I'd have to settle for a different major. After 2 years of feeling unchallenged and just unfulfilled in my major, and after suffering from a serious back injury that made walking to class every day slow and painful, I decided it was time to look at what other states had to offer. After searching for 3 months, I found a school in Ohio that provided me scholarships. That back door had just opened, and then I was kind of like, oh no, what do I do now? Engineering school was not easy. There were many, many moments where I was filled with self-doubt. Definitely struggled with getting the exam scores I wanted. And if it resonates with you when you're in a new environment and things aren't going as smoothly as you want, here are three tips that'll help you overcome these new situations. First, overcome difficult moments by seeking out professors and peers. I found that people are willing to help. You just need to ask. The assistant dean of my engineering college literally became a father figure for me. Second, establish a community around you. My community provided me a place to brainstorm and to draw information and inspiration from. The ION student group from my school became the safe place for me to contribute to and express ideas. Third and last, reframe the challenges you encounter. I started looking at my challenges as opportunity for growth and to establish the long-lasting relationships that have made me who I am today. My friends and professors have helped shape my creativity through engineering. I chose not to allow the TV writers to write my story. So with all this in mind, I'd like to leave you with this. How might we reframe the challenges that we encounter? Thank you.